This is L.W. Johnson with part two of the law of expectations. And we went over the law of expectation before, and it's the dominant thoughts in your head that the thing you think about all the time will come to pass, which is the opposite of Murphy's law, which is whatever could go wrong will go wrong. Well, the law of expectation says that whatever you think about constantly, the dominant thought in your head, not the thought you think about once in a while. A lot of people think about getting rich or being rich or having what they want once in a while. The dominant thought has to be something that you think about all the time. So now to make the law work for you, your thoughts of the thing that you desire has to be in the forefront of your mind, not in the back of your mind, not something you think about when your day's done, not something you think about at night when you pray or in the morning when you get up. It's got to be in your subconscious. It's got to be in your conscious. It's got to be something that you think about all day. Okay. So simply saying I'm rich or I'm prosperous won't do it. Just like a fear, an irrational phobia that dominates someone's thoughts, a person's thoughts, you have to think about what you want until it becomes the dominant thought in your head, not a thought in your head, but the absolute dominant thought in your head. You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to drink, you have to talk, you have to walk, you have to desire, and you have to become obsessed with having the thing that you desire until you have to have it. I have to have this thing. I think about it so much, I got to have it. Okay. So that only happens when you truly believe, or you have convinced yourself, or in your mind that what you want, you will get. And you actively imagine yourself already in possession of it. All right. Now, similarly, like someone who has a phobia, when you have a fear, that person is convinced that fear is real. If you got fear of ghosts, you got to think they think the ghost is real. If they fear spiders, they bring the spiders to them, and nothing you say, no proof that you provide that's going to treat their phobia as irrational. Nothing you can say is going to convince this person that this fear they have is not real, and they see it everywhere they go because they've convinced themselves that this thing is real. Okay? That, my friends, that is what you need to have. You need to have that thought needs to be your dominant thought, okay? Because the fear is the person with the phobia. That's their dominant thought. So they attract the exact thing that they fear. Well, guess what? Your imagination of the thing that you want has to mirror the thoughts of somebody with that fear, that phobia, until it becomes an obsession. So you've got to recreate this mentally in your mind. Now, how do you create this? Because your imagination, if you don't, say, for instance, you're looking for money, you're looking for business, you're looking to, you just started a business and you want that your business to flourish. How do you make it the dominant thought in your head? How do you become obsessed with this thing? When you can recreate that dominant thought, you can create obsession by thinking about it all the time. So let's go through that process, right? So now that you know what you have to do, you've got to recreate this thing. How do you create a good obsession? Not a bad obsession. A bad obsession is a phobia. A bad obsession is a fear of something, okay? We're talking about the opposite now, a good obsession. So in order to create this obsessive behavior, you've got to create your obsession through your constant thoughts. You gotta, through repetition, your imagination, you gotta visualize the results of whatever it is that you desire, whether it's business, whether it's money, real estate, spouses, doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter what your desire is, what your thoughts are, but you can recreate this obsessive behavior of someone with a phobia or a irrational fear. You could recreate that mentally in your head. Now, if what you desire is not worth repeating many times a day until it becomes the dominant thought in your imagination, in your mind, honestly, you simply don't want it enough. If what you want is not repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating in your mind, like playing a broken record all the time, if what you want is something you say at bedtime, you don't want it enough. If what you want is something you say when you get a chance, you're just not. You don't think about it enough for it to be dominant. In order for the law of expectation to work, whatever you want has to dominate your thoughts, not something that you think about when you have a quiet moment, when you're in the kitchen or when you're in the bathroom by yourself. It's something that dominates your thoughts. So it's got to be something you think about constantly. So because you think about this thing constantly, you can recreate it by thinking about it, something constantly. Okay, so let's go through what it is. If you think, saying, or imagining your desire once a day, honestly, you're just not gonna have it. Okay, so kind of like the feeling of getting a new habit. Say if you're working out or losing weight, it's gonna take some effort to change a bad habit into a good habit, into a good desire. Okay, so you're gonna have to work at it. It's not something that you just think about once in a while and go, oh yeah, by the way, that thing I wanted, I'd like to have that. No, you're gonna have to work at it. So if you're trying to create a new habit, working out, losing weight, stop smoking, whatever that is, it's going to take some effort. It's going to take some energy on your part. So if you don't feel the need to put the energy into changing your circumstances to achieve what you desire, then all you're doing is wishing without expecting any real results. All you're doing is wishing, or not even daydreaming, just wishing, out loud. It takes 30 days, for being on Wall Street. This is what we would learn and had to recreate. It takes 30 days to create a habit. And repetition is also the mother of skill. So anything you repeat and repeat and repeat, you become better and better and better at it. Repetition becomes the mother of skill. So you must replace your old habit with your new desired habit repeatedly for at least 30 days in order for it to stick, in order for it to become a new habit or create skill. People who try, or people who make a New Year's resolution, then relapse into their old self in a week or a couple of days, they simply did not commit themselves to the new habit. And then they allowed their old habits to return. So basically, if you wanted to lose weight, you did it for a day or two or three, or then you kind of, you kind of got into that mindset that, maybe I could have whatever it is that I'm trying to get away from. So you go back to the fast foods, or you go back to doing the bad habit until the bad habit overcomes whatever energy you had put in to try to lose weight or stop smoking or whatever the case is. And so the old habit returns. Now, excuse me, Jesus said, stop sinning or something worse may happen to you in John 5:14. This, what I'm telling you, is actually spiritual law. It says when an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through and places seeking rest. It doesn't find. Okay, this is the spirit that you just drove out. Then it says, I will return to the house where I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied. So when you drive the spirit out, when Jesus drives out the spirit, a bad spirit out of a person, he says, stop sinning or something worse may happen to you, because the spirit that you drove out is looking for a new home. And if you don't put something else in the spot, it comes back, and sometimes it comes back with company, and it comes back with 7 other spirits that are more wicked than itself, and they go live in that person and find the condition of the person way worse than it was before. That's in Matthew 12, verse 43. Okay, so translation is, whenever you give up something like an old habit or a bad habit, you've got to replace it with a new good habit to fill the void, because you're now going to have a void. If you used to smoke, you're going to have a void in your life. So you've got to pick something up, a new habit that is replacing that whole old habit, or something worse than that bad habit will occupy that void in your life. So a lot of the times, someone giving up cigarettes or alcohol without filling the void with something good or productive, many times will result in excessive weight gain, and you still smoke, or some other form of bad compensation for the bad spirit that fills the void created when the bad habit was ended. So the law of expectation says the dominant thoughts in your head will happen, not thoughts you think about once in a blue, once in a while, or when you get a chance. So whatever you desired has to be moved from a nice thought in the back of your head, or something that you think about once in a while when you're in the mood, or, hey, that thing I liked, I still like it. Or in order to be an obsession that you imagine, plan for, and expect to happen, this has got to be something that you do repeatedly, forcefully, until you don't have to force it anymore. It's just a dominant thoughts in your head. So this takes a commitment to visualize. Have faith in God that you already have it. So you got to visualize it in your imagination. You got to see it, feel it, touch it.